Hello everyone, welcome to the Photoshop section of our graphic design course. In this video I'm going to be explaining most of the interface, most of the tools for us. Okay, so as we all know, Photoshop is a multi-purpose software, so it's not only limited to graphic designers. Okay, so photographers use it, photo editors, they use it to edit their photos, even filmmakers too, they also use it for their projects as well. So I'm going to be explaining the parts that concerns we graphic designers. So guys, as you can see here, this is the history of my recent work. You can see this is 2 days ago, 7 days ago. Okay, this is the history of my recent work, right? As you can see here, it's recent, so this is my recent work. So if you come here, if you want to create new documents, you come over here and create your new documents. If you want to open an already designed document like this one's, but if you want to open it from your file manager, if you have a work or a project that you did some time ago that is not listed here and you want to open it, you can come over here, click on open, then it will open a little file manager section for you to go and look for whatever projects it is what you want to open. Okay, so if we click create, it will open different sizes for us. As you can see from recent, this is the recent sizes that I've used for most of my work. Okay, so whatever size that you used and that you've used in Photoshop, it will save it. So if you come over here, this is where your saved sizes will appear. So if you have any size that you really like and you saved it, it will appear here. So for photo editors, this is where they get the different sizes of their documents. Okay, for whatever documents they want to edit or whatever they want to do, this is where they get their different sizes. And print, if you are designing something that you want to print out or just your on-screen designs, you can get your regular printing sizes here. Okay, this is your real world printing size. This is your A4 size, your A6, A5, different sizes. And if you are into art and illustration, this is where you get your size. Same thing with web, mobile. If you need the size of mobile phones, here it is, different sizes for you to choose from. And also same with film and video editing. Okay, so if you come over here, let me put it in print since this is what concerns us. If you come over here, you can, this is the presets of the document. If you want to set a custom preset, okay, if we choose A4 for instance, it will show you the properties of that A4, the width, the heights, alright, the unit it was measured in, and you can set your documents. You can set any name you want. Alright, it depends on what you are doing. You can edit your name, you can put whatever name you want. You can customize the width and height if you wish. You can put whatever size you want. And over here there are different units of measurements. We have pixels, inches, centimeters, points, and picos. Alright, so this A4, the measurements that this A4 was taken with is in millimeters, so that's why it's millimeters, but you can decide to change it to whatever one you want. If you choose inches for instance, it will show you the measurement in inches. Alright, so let me set it back to millimeters. So here is our resolution. It's better to leave this at 300, but if your PC is not really powerful, you can reduce this to about 72. Alright, then maybe when you want to export it or save it, you can increase it. Right, so right here we have our different color modes. So if you did follow our CorelDRAW tutorial, you would remember this particular part. Like I said, it is very important to choose the right color mode. So you have different color modes here, but the one that concerns us mainly as graphic designer is our RGB color mode, which is for on-screen purposes, or our CMYK color mode, which is for printing. Okay, so right here you can change your background to whatever. If you want it black, You can change it to black. As you can see here, my background is white. If you want it transparent or you want to customize it, it's all your choice. Alright, so once we are done with entering our information here, we'll click on create, and it will create our A4 document for us. So by default, this layer panel is always here. Alright, but you can decide to customize it the way you would like it. So I prefer having my layer panels here because, as you can see, while it's here, it doesn't show much information, so I have to scroll down if I have so many layers created. So I like having my layer panel over here. Okay, so I can see all the layers that I have created. So if we come over here in file, we have options, various options. If you want to create new document, like I explained earlier, you can come over here and click here. It will open the preset for you to set your size. Okay, it will open the option for you to set your size or how you want your new documents to be. So I'll close this. I'm not opening anything. So by under it, we have open. Like I said, if you want to open an already existing documents, okay, different options. If you want to open as a smart object, or if you want to open your recent, this is my recent work. If you want to open your recent work, this is where you come. Okay, different options here. Alright, so for different purposes. So if we come to edit, this is where we edit whatever it is. If you have a text and you want to edit it, so this is where you come and choose whatever you want to do here. Alright, so image, whatever you want to. If you have an image and you want to, for instance, edit that image and maybe give it a little touch here and there, you can come over here and do it, or you can click on auto color for the AI to help you to make a little bit of adjustments for you. Alright, if you want to change image size, canvas size, which is this, image rotation and all that. Alright, so this layer concerns this layer panels. Okay, if I have different layers here, if I click on a particular layer and I want to do something to it, I can come here and select whatever it is I want to do. For instance, if I want to create a layer mask to this background layer, first I need to unlock it. Right, click on that little key icon to unlock it. So if I want to create a layer mask, I can come over here, create a mask, and choose whatever one I want. If I want to click on reveal all, and it will create it for us. Alright, so I'm going to undo that. There are also different options for us here. Vector mask, new adjustment layer, and so much more. Right, so we have select. If you want to select objects, you can explore this yourself. Alright, it's very straightforward, it's not difficult. So I'm going to come over here and explain the tools for us. Okay, so over here we have our move tool, which we use for moving our objects or whatever it is we want to move. Let me import an image so that we use it to demonstrate the functions of all these tools. Most of them do. Alright, so I'm just going to come over here and open. I'll click on open to open an image for us. So let me look for an image. So I'll use this image. Click on open to open it and let it load. Okay, so here's our image. So with my move tool selected, I can come over here and move. Let me unlock the background. And I can come over here and move this image around. So that's the function of the move tool. Alright, so there are other functions. If you right click, it will show you other options here. So I'm not going to be illustrating most of them, but I'll just focus on the major ones. Okay, so this is marquee tool. So we have different shapes and sizes of marquee. So for instance, we select this circle marquee tool, and we'll select this portion. We can add any effect we want to this portion, or we can do whatever it is we want to this portion. So if I should, for instance, if I should move this, you can move it around as well. So if I want to add an effect to this one, I can come to my adjustment layer and click on maybe if I want to increase the contrast or levels or anything. I can just come here and click on it, then make my necessary adjustments. As you can see, it's taking effect in the image. Okay, so that's the function of the Marquee tool. So let me close that. Let me close that. I'll delete this layer. Then we also have different sizes. We have the rectangle, still the same function, just different shapes. Okay, so over here we have let me open this. We have our lasso tool. It's also for selection. You can use it to make your different selection. We have different functions as well. So for instance, we want to circle out this portion. Alright, we've selected this area. We can make adjustments or whatever we want to do to it here. Right, same thing. Okay, it's mostly for selection, but it also has different purpose as well. So let me delete this layer. There are different types of Marquee tool as well, so but I won't go into that. You can explore those yourself. Right, so right here we have our selection tool. We have object selection. If we want to select an object, quick selection. If we want to, for instance, let me increase the size of this. So if we want to select this image, we can simply come here and click and drag around this image to select it. As you can see, it's selecting the image for us. So we have selected this towel that she has on her hair right now. So that's the function of the quick selection tool. It's also have different types of tools. Okay, still for the same selection but different. Right, so you can go and explore this one. I'm just going to give you a hint. I'm giving you an idea of what the main function of the tools is. Okay, so let me to deselect this. To cancel this selection, you can click Ctrl D on your keyboard, or you can come to select. This is the function of this select now. It makes changes, or it concerns this area that we selected. This selection that we just made, this is where you make your changes or whatever it is you want to do here to the selection. Okay, so if I come here and click deselect, you can see the shortcuts, the keyboard shortcut for the select. If I click on the select, it will cancel that selection. So right here we have our crop tool. We already know the function of our crop tool, so no need to go into that. We have different frame tool. You can see the little animation, so that is the function of the frame tool. So I'm just going to stick to the important aspects here. So we have our eyedropper tool, which is just for sampling colors, as you can see in the illustration. So it's pretty straightforward. We have our healing tool, our healing brush tool. So what this does is, for instance, if we have to zoom in to your image, you can click you can hold control key on your keyboard and use the plus and minus key to zoom in on and out, or you can hold your alt key, then use the ball on your mouse to zoom in and out. Okay, so if I have this selected, okay, so if I have, sorry about that, if I want to remove this, and with this particular, I want to use this texture here to remove this little spot here. You can come here, hold your alt key. If you hold your alt key on your keyboard, you click and left click on your mouse, it will sample that place, then release. So as you can see, while I'm moving the mouse, it's moving the sample of this area of our skin. So if I bring this here and click, it will use it to cover up that place. Alright, so that's the function of this one. Under that, we also have other functions, still the same purpose. If I should take a sports healing brush tool, let me do this. Ctrl Z on your keyboard to undo your action. So what this does, you don't need to sample any area of the image to use to cover up this side. What it does, it just simply, the AI uses the colors around this spot to cover up this place. So if I should just come here and click, it will use textures and colors around that area to cover up that spot. Okay, so that's the function of the selection tool. We have our brush tool. Which is for applying different brush effects. Okay, so like this is a wine color brush. This is a wine shade brush, okay, which I use for my designs. So if I want to change the color, the size of this brush, I can come over here. If I want to change this brush entirely, I can come over here and click. You can see it will show different brushes here. Let me come to this side. So this one is more visible, so it will show you the different types of brushes, the different options for you to choose from. So if I should click on my soft round brush, I can use it to paint around an image. For instance, if I should draw around this, you can see the effects. So let me undo that. Ctrl Z on your keyboard to undo. Close this. So that's the function of the brush. So we also have under our brush tool, we also have other tool. We have our pencil tool, color replacements brush, and all of that brush. Like I said, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to give you guys the important idea about the tools. Then you get to go and work on, try out all these ones to see their functions. So this here is our stamp tool. So watch the animation. We use it to sample objects and put it in another place. Right, so let me demonstrate. For instance, if you want to sample an object or an area, you hold your Alt key and go to that area, whatever area you want to sample. Then click on it. For instance, I want to sample this eye. If I click, it has collected a sample of that eye, and I can come over here. When I left click and hold, it will sample everything that is within the eye, that eye region that I sampled. Right? For instance, as you can see, it is showing everything that is within that region I sampled. If you look up to the upper area, you will see that plus sign. So it is sampling everything around that plus sign. So that's the function of the stamp tool. So I'm going to undo this now. So we also have, if you right click, you will see another type of stamp, pattern stamp tool. Okay, so you try that out yourself. Right here we have history brush tool. What this does is, for instance, if we erase this area of this image and want to bring it back, you can come to our history brush, click on it, then come over here and draw around it. It will bring back the erased area. Okay, so that's the function of the history brush, to bring back all the erased area. Now if you want to increase or reduce the size of this circle, you can come to your bracket keys on your keyboard and increase the right bracket keys to increase and the left bracket keys to reduce. Okay, or you can simply come over here and adjust the size manually to the size you want. Alright, so that is that. If you right click, you also have another one here which you try out yourself. So this one is the one I demonstrated earlier, our eraser tool, just for playing, erasing parts of our image. Okay, so that's the function of the eraser tool. Now if you're working on a project, I suggest, if you're using all these brushes and all these effects, make sure you create a new layer for those effects so that you'll be able to control the brush. For instance, if I should create a new layer above this image and I want to apply a brush, for instance, I want to apply effects, for instance this brush, I want to paint around here. Alright, I can easily remove this brush if I want to without affecting the main image. So if I want to make this brush invisible, I can come over here to this eye icon. Okay, the purpose of this icon here is for visibility. If you want to turn off any layer, you can click on it to turn it off and click on it to turn it back on. For instance, I want to turn off this white brush that I use. You can click on it and it's gone, but it's still there. You can turn it back on if you want. And same thing with all the layers, even the image. We want to remove the image, right? The image is gone. So that's the function of these icons here. So, and also the function, the benefits of creating a new layer for any effect you want to add. So I'm going to delete this layer now. Now the next one, we have our gradients tool, right? So what this does is, for instance, let me create a shape. If I have this shape right here, watch what happens to the layer icon. If I create a shape, it will create a new layer for it. You can see it has created a rectangle layer. So if I want to use this gradient tool, for instance, watch the demonstration. So that's the function of the gradient tool, but let me apply it so you can see. Now if I want to apply it to this layer, what I have to do first is rasterize this layer, right click, then rasterize the layer so that we can edit it, right? So that's the function of rasterizing layer, to make it editable. So if we click on rasterize layer, now if you see, we want to apply our effect. That's made it possible for us. So now to apply this, if you go ahead and apply the gradient effect, it will affect everything. Now we don't want it to affect everything, we want it to affect only this brush. Let me show you what I mean. If I apply, it will affect everything. Okay, I don't want it to affect everything, so I want it to affect only this brush, only this rectangle. So with this rectangle layer selected, I'll come over here and create a layer mask. Right now, with that layer mask selected, I can apply my effects to this rectangle without affecting the other elements. Right, as you can see, this is the effects. Now you can come over here. This is your property bar. You can come over here and edit the effects. Alright, so if you want to change the styles, you can also do that here. After when you click on this pattern, then you come over here and redraw again to bring in that effect, as you can see. So if you click on this one, and you draw again, it's going to bring in that effect. So that's the function of this, right? So you can try out the rest yourself. You can also reverse it if you want. I reverse the effect if you want. You can see it's reversed. So that's the function of the gradients tool. If you right click, you also have paint buckets and 3D drop materials. So we are not doing 3D design, so you don't need this. It's also nice to have it sharp. So our paint bucket tool is simply just to put in a color we want. For instance, with this rectangle selected, if I want to give it a color, whatever color I choose here, for instance, if I want to if I double click here to open the color palette for me to choose the color that I want. So if I want to give it this blue, alright. So these are your foreground and your background color. So if I have changed the foreground color to blue, so if I come over here and click, it will change the color to blue, right? If I decide to change it, if I come over here to this little arrow here, it will swap the positions and bring in the background color as our foreground color and vice versa. So if I click, it will paint it our foreground color. So that's the function of the paint bucket. So this is our blur tool. Watch the demonstration. You can see pretty straightforward, just to blur objects. If I should zoom in, let me zoom in so I will show you. If I want to blur out this area, I just click on it and paint around it to blur that. So as you can see, that's the effect, is blurring out this area. So that's just how it works. So let me undo that. Alright, so it also have under it you have different tools, sharpen tool, which is the reverse of blurring, and smudge. You can try those out yourself. So we have right here our dodge tool is just basically to brighten areas up. For instance, if I click on this image and I want to brighten this place, you can see the effects. It's brightening this part up for us. Alright, so that's the function of our dodge tool. Let me delete this rectangle, we no longer need it. So our pen tool, we know our pen tool, which is just what we did in our CorelDRAW. It's the same thing here with Photoshop. Alright, but you have different types of pen tool. You have our curvature tool, alright, pre-transform tool, you can try those out yourself. We have our text tool, which is for inputting text. Right? Different if you want it horizontal, which is the traditional way, or you want it vertical. Alright, so there are different ones, there are options for that. So for instance, I want to enter a text, it will create a layer once I input any text. For instance, if I enter text, if I should type the letter text, it will create a new layer for it. Alright, let me zoom in for you to see. You can adjust the size of this text as well. First of all, you need to take this icon to commit your change. If you don't want the change to take effect, you come over here and click cancel it to cancel the effect. So you can also come here and change the color, but for you to change the color or give it any effect, make sure your text is highlighted. So to do that, you double click on the text, it will highlight all your text. Right now you can give it whatever effects you want. You can change the color to whatever color you want. I want it yellow. Right, let me give it a visible color. Alright, you can see it's blue. Alright, so that's the function here. Now to commit this effect, to approve this effect, you click on this icon. Now I'll come back to my move to click on my move tool. If I want to adjust if I want to increase the size or reduce it, or whatever I want to do to it, I can hold Ctrl T on my keyboard to bring in the adjustment nodes. Alright, or let me cancel this first. Or I can come over here and take this box that says show transform controls. Right, it will do the same thing. So now I can adjust this text. Now if you want to edit this in different, for instance, you want to spread it out or shrink it, if you come over here and drag, it will just increase everything. Now for you to increase the individual size, hold shift on your keyboard and drag. Right, so that's the function. Now let me cancel this, I don't need the text anymore. So I'll just delete the text layer. Now this tool is basically, let me just click on show you the later animation. I don't want us to waste too much time. So you can see it's almost the same as our shape tool in CorelDRAW, right? Similar function. So our rectangle tool is used for creating rectangles, as the name implies. There are also different shapes inside. If you right click, it will show you different shapes, or you can customize custom shapes, which you can get from here. Look at, if you come over here to the top, it will show you all your custom shapes. Alright, if you want leaf shapes, it will show you your leaf shapes. If you want wild animals, it will show you as well. Alright, so with your shape selected, you can come over here and draw and create your shape. Okay, so I don't want to create any shape. As you can see, it created a layer. So that's the function. Whatever you do, it will create a layer. Alright. Apart from effects, whatever you create in your work, it will create a layer for it. Alright, so I'm going to undo that. Now I'll move to this hand tool. It's simply just to move your work around. For instance, if you click, you can move your work around, and a shortcut to do this, for instance, if you are using if you are with the shape, or if you are with the eyedropper tool, for instance, because I chose the eyedropper tool because you can't use it to move anything. So you can hold shift, the space key. You can hold the space key on your keyboard to activate it automatically, and now you can move around your work. Alright, so that's the function of this tool, and this one is simply our zoom tool. Alright, very straightforward, zoom. So if you click to zoom, if you hold Alt and click to zoom out. Alright, so that's the function of our zoom tool. If you come back here, we also have some panels here. This is our color, different colors. right? If I want to change this white, this is our foreground color and this is our background color. So whatever, if I change the color here, it will apply to this colors here. For instance, if I change this to red, what just happens? It has changed the color here to red. Okay, so you come over here, there are different options as well you can choose from. You have history of deleted layers or whatever you have been doing. Alright, it keeps a history for you. And we have the text property panel. Right, if you have any text that you typed out, right, you can come over here, and if this is with that layer selected, you can come over here and make whatever changes you want to make to the text. Now, this is our paragraph, right? Same thing still for text purposes, right? So if you don't have any all this icon open for you, you can come over to Windows. You can come over to Windows and choose that icon. It will bring it out for you. For instance, if I want to bring in let's say brushes, if I click on this, it will bring it here. I already have my brushes here, so that's why it opened it up straight away. Now over here we have our property panel, which is very straightforward. Properties. I want to reverse the image. I want to make any changes to this image. For instance, if I want to switch the sides, I can come here and click. It will switch the sides. I want it up or if I want it upside down or straight, I can do it. So this is just our property panel. So this is our line. Alright, very straightforward. Everything is just written out for us. Okay, this is our adjustments. If you want to make any adjustments, brightness and contrast levels, right, anything we want to do, we can click on it and make the adjustments. Okay, so that's the function. That's basically everything about the interface. If you also come here, you have different workspace. So we have 5 major workspaces. Alright, our 3D workspace for graphic and web, motion, painting, photography. Alright, so we are using our essentials. That's why our essentials is selected. So right here we have this is our effects panel. So if for instance, if I have a shape, let me use a rectangle because it's a simple shape. So if I have my rectangle and I want to give it some effects or anything like that, I'll come back to my effects panel and open it. Then if I want to give it shadows, I can click here. It will give my rectangle shadows. Right, I can make all the adjustments I want to make to these shadows. I want to increase the distance of the shadow. You can see the effect is taking place. I want to spread it. Anything is taking place. I want to lower the shadow a bit. Alright, so everything that you need to work on your shadow is all here. Same thing, we have outside glow. We have other effects as well. We have the bevel and impulse. You can see the effects, right? So everything is in the effects panel. Okay, so let me cancel this. Right here we have our mask. If you want to add a mask to your work or whatever shape you got or any layer at all, you can come here with that layer selected. You can click on mask. It will create a mask for that layer. For instance, I click on this layer, it has created a mask. Now we can apply whatever effect we want to apply to this mask. Okay, so like I demonstrated before with the gradients tool, if I want to erase part of the image, you can see if I want to add some effects that I can't do directly, a mask is very helpful. So that's the function of the layer mask. So let me delete this layer. Over here we have our color. This one concerns color and everything that relates to color. Alright, color, photo filter, black and white. I click on black and white to turn this to black and white. Okay, so that's the function, right? So that's the function. They're all here, and this is to create a group. So if you are working on a project and you have so many panels created, you can come here and group them. And by just clicking group, you can see. And this is our group. If I want to put this image inside this group, I can just hold on it, then drag and put it inside. Right now it's inside the group. So if I should close this group, if you see, to close that panel because that panel is inside the group. So if I click here, it will make it visible again. Alright, so everything is inside the group. So that's the function of the group icon. If I want to create a new layer, I can just come here. And create a new layer. Right? Okay, so the new layer I created appeared directly above this one because this is the only layer that is created. If I have multiple layers created and I just click on the new layer icon, it will create a new layer at the top of all the layers. So if I want to bring a particular layer under another, for instance, I have my rectangle. You can see it created a rectangle directly above the image. So if I want to bring this rectangle layer under this our image, I can come here and click on it, then drag it under. Right, if you take a rectangle under, so you can see our rectangle is under and it's not visible. If I turn the visibility of the image off, you can see our rectangle. Right, so it's still there. So let me delete this layer. If I want to delete a layer, you can come here and click on delete. I have to select the layer first, then click on delete. It will delete the layer for us. Right, so this is the basic knowledge of the interface. Alright, this is everything that we need to create a design in Photoshop. So in our next video, we are going to be creating a flyer. Right, please make sure, it is very important that you pay attention and listen carefully to all my videos, because I'm going to be dropping some information, very important information that will really help you in your in making a good design as a graphic designer. Because I don't want to make multiple videos, separate videos for this thing. That's why I'm putting them all inside one video, so that we just have all our tools in one place. Alright, so guys, I'll see you guys in the next class.